Technology is advancing by leaps and bounds. There is no doubt about it. Objects that only lived in the dreams of writers have now become reality. Robots that do the cleaning, machines that can replace a worker in a power station, mobile phones with facial recognition capabilities. Yes, all these advances have come to make your life easier. The good thing for us is that these improvements are not only included for certain occupational and social sectors. Advances have been seen in most of our current lifestyle, which is why many were not surprised when Meta made an announcement about an artificial intelligence that promises to bring its support in the linguistic field. But will this displace interpreters, translators, and other language professionals? And will their work also be affected? At the moment, it seems that neither of these two sectors have anything to fear. While Meta's announcement may sound a little threatening to its publications, the reality is that there are still a number of details to be fine-tuned before we can say that the artificial intelligence offered by Mark Zuckerberg's company is fully functional. Of course, at some point these problems will be fixed, but for now, translators and interpreters have nothing to fear. Let's learn a bit more about the Meta-Linguistics project. As far as is known, there are more than 7,000 languages in the world today. Studies have been carried out, and although the number exceeds the number of existing countries, it has been concluded that many nations speak different languages, depending on the territory where they're located, their upbringing, and their political situation. While it is true that there are people with the ability to become polyglots, it would be impossible for a human to understand and speak fluently all the dialects of the world. Even machines have struggled to fit them into the larger linguistic picture. What makes us think that people could overcome such disabilities? The good news for us is that translators exist, and thanks to their technology, people can rely on them with a simple tap of their mobile phone screen. However, it is not enough to make us understand each other correctly, and we have seen this thanks to certain examples of programs that are supposed to provide a clean and clear translation. This leads not only to linguistic errors, but also to a misunderstanding, which, in the worst case, can lead to misunderstanding on the part of the speakers. Seeing these problems and looking for a solution, Meta, Mark Zuckerberg's business conglomerate, has decided to leave the metaverse for a few months and work on a project they called No Language Left Behind. The idea behind this work is to improve current translation and interpretation technologies in real time. From what we've heard, Zuckerberg and Meta are aiming for clean communication by shortening the wait to impressive levels, and based on announcements made by the entrepreneur, it looks like they finally achieved that. This week saw the announcement of the AI tasked with translating between different languages, and in its presentation, it never passed by the English language. Not only does it stand out as a breakthrough with excellent results, but it could also become another flagship product for the company. Last Wednesday was the date set by the Meta team for the unveiling of the NLLB-200. The result? An AI model capable of speaking 200 languages. It even included algorithms and programs to understand some minority languages in Africa, Europe, and Asia, all in order to cover more options and position its product as one of the most comprehensive worldwide. As for the number of translations that the application can perform daily, it was concluded that the figure reaches 25,000 phrases from all the Meta apps. Moving on to the languages found in the AI, we can see from the most popular ones, such as English, French, and Spanish, to the less spoken ones, such as Urdu and Asturian. In addition, along with the announcement, Mark Zuckerberg assured that this technology would not only focus on Meta products, but that we will also be able to find it on other sites, such as Wikipedia. With this latest announcement, Mark has made it clear that his AI technology will be released as open source, so that anyone can use it and even improve its functions. Not only will this be of great help to many, but the information will be much more accessible to the general population. Quite simply, in the case of Wikipedia, the online encyclopedia finally shows more accurate and understandable translation results, which in turn would give its editors the opportunity to work with native languages, providing a more faithful translation. Little-known languages, such as certain African dialects, which do not appear in other services, were also taken into account, all in an effort to expand the range of possibilities for all people, using technology as a hammer to break down the language barrier. Quote, billions of people around the world don't have access to a translation technology or service that really works well for their language, explained Angela Fan, a scientist and researcher at Meta AI. We really hope that the technology we're developing will allow the metaverse to be inclusive by design, she added, thanks to a video produced by the company. The NLLB 200 model, whose origins can be found in the M2M 100, which was presented in 2020, was an AI that already dispensed with English to translate into different languages. Thanks to its ability to meticulously analyze various sentences and distinguish between certain types of information from meta services, the AI database was able to feed an impressive number of terms and algorithms that facilitate translation. Previously, it was necessary to hire several groups of people to speak these languages, which provided the data needed to create and verify the translations. Now, Meta AI is limited to training with data that is collected directly with the input and output language. With this collected data, the training models that make up both parts are incorporated. The encoder, which transforms the input sentence into an internal vector representation, and the decoder, which takes this representation and modifies it to the output sentence, all with precision. In this way, the more people use this technology, the better the AI will learn communication patterns and provide increasingly accurate translations with less confusing nuances. From what was explained in the presentation, we assume that more data is still needed to optimize the AI. However, this is already at an almost perfect stage, and that is by the evaluation of the model with respect to the translations done by humans. This not only verifies the quality of the message, but also confirms its consistency and accuracy against human capital. Similarly, the intelligence itself took a giant step forward within the project, with the location and purging of vulgar and highly vexatious material. Quote, this includes detecting and filtering profanity and other offensive content through the use of toxicity lists, which were created for all supported languages. The result of this is a well-disturbed model, which can be translated directly into a language. As we discussed in the previous blog, this release is not only a breakthrough for Meta and its applications, but it will be a discovery that everyone can benefit from. Thanks to the open source AI code, the software can be found on GitHub, along with its tests, models, and other documents to run and modify the technology. It also includes the languages used by the program, which exceeds the 133 used by Google Translate. Meta's bet is clear, and its advances will not only help many people to better understand the metaverse, but will also break down blockages that have been active since the creation of the internet. Quote, to give you an idea of the scale of the program, the 200 language model has more than 50 billion parameters. We trained it using the Research Supercluster, one of the fastest supercomputers in the world, Mark Zuckerberg said in a post on his Facebook about a few days ago. And with that last comment, we come to the final stretch of this video. While we can say that Meta already has the basic structure of the project in place, it is still too early to test its effectiveness and claim that the technology is 100% foolproof. Remember that companies like Google have tried to implement similar ideas and still have several serious flaws. Still, now that you know more about Meta's plans with their new AI, what do you think about it? Do you think this project will help many people break the language barrier? Or, on the contrary, will it remain just another poorly executed idea with unflattering results? Leave your thoughts on today's topic below, and don't forget to add some suggestions for future topics. We're reading them. Thanks for sticking around to the end. Subscribe and support us with your likes. See you next time!